Hi, guys. Hello. Welcome back to the Project Nourish podcast. We're your host. I'm Megan Gump, a certified nutritional therapy practitioner.
And I'm Casey Poe Campbell, also a nutritional therapy practitioner and licensed esthetician. We're here to bring you a podcast all about health, wellness, holistic nutrition, functional medicine, and non-toxic living.
As a disclaimer, topics discussed and recommendations given in this podcast are not to treat or cure any disease. As NTPs, we want to discover and address your underlying health symptoms using nutritional therapy, functional medicine, and non-toxic living.
Well, hello, friend. How is your day going? What's going on in Houston?
Hi, friend. Not a whole lot's going on in Houston. The sun is finally starting to shine, so I am really excited about that. Planted a bunch of cool plants this weekend. Yeah. So,
already? Oh my gosh.
Well, so Alex and I actually went to the nursery and bought elderberry bushes or shrubs. And so we planted two of our very own elderberry bushes. So I'm really excited. In like 2 years, we're going to have a ton of elderberries, which is really cool. Yeah. Yeah. And then other than that, not too much. I just wanted to bring up kind of like a little note about today in a conversation that I had with a girl earlier. So I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and I basically just kind of posted something on Instagram about harmful ingredients in our everyday makeup and skincare. Mm-hmm. And especially with the conversation we had last week about, non-toxic living and really cleaning up your home, that kind of stuff. She basically came to me and was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I am a huge fan of, cleaner, non-toxic makeup and ingredients or, products as well. She was like, I absolutely use and love this one company that is animal cruelty free, and everything that they make is vegan and non-GMO. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. Like, she told me the name of the company, and basically after the conversation, I went ahead and looked up the company and a lot of their products and the ingredients in the, products. And I found a lot of stuff that is on the Beauty Counter's never list. Like heavy metals and perfume, like so fragrance, synthetic fragrance, and parabens. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is supposed to be a, non-GMO better option, but it's like they're still putting all this crap in their makeup. And my heart just went out for this girl, and it was just so sad about the miscommunication that's out there about girls that are being told, oh, they're using this awesome non-GMO vegan animal cruelty free company, but it's like then they never take that extra step to actually look at the ingredients that are in these products, and they're still putting really harmful things on their body. And it made me so sad, because this was just one conversation that I was having with a friend of mine, and I just can't, like, this is the reality of today. This is what most people have the understanding of. So
yeah, it's just so sad how people think either going into food too, like gluten-free or vegan equals healthy.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But you can have like Skittles and Oreos for dinner, and they're considered, vegan, but they're absolutely not healthy.
Right. Exactly. 100%. And I mean, yeah, it goes to say with everything, from the food that we eat to what we're putting on our skin. But it just all goes back to like how amazing marketing can be, and what they can put on their packaging or in their slogan, on their website, whatever. And then people buy into this stuff, but it's, people that are really educated and take the time to look a little bit deeper and see what the ingredients are. That's the important thing. Don't rely on the company to tell you what's going on. Do your due diligence and look at the ingredients in things.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my rant for the day. It just broke my heart, and I was more than happy to tell her about the Never List and to check her ingredients to make sure they were safe. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, the Never List is just such a powerful tool, because, then you're not telling her like, oh, your company sucks or whatever, like to start a fight. You're just like, hey, look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
And then you can realize on your own that your company is not using the safest ingredients out there.
Yeah. And the Environmental Working Group, EWG app is a huge thing. And the other thing is I tried looking up this company on that app, and they weren't even on there. So that's another big red flag, because companies have to volunteer to be on there. And if they opt out, it's a lot of the times they don't want people to know how toxic their ingredients are.
Yeah,
or their
exactly.
products. So
All of their stuff is going to be in the orange and the red zone.
yep, exactly. So how are you doing, my friend? What's up in your world?
Good. Okay, so I just started listening to this new book on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
It is, oh gosh, what is it called? You Are a Badass, but it's the one about money.
Okay.
And so this morning, I think I'm only on chapter 2 or whatever. The author, Jen Sincero, is how I always want to say it wrong. But so she's talking about just our mindset around money. And I can see this especially with women. Like, we're scared to tell people like how much money we make or that we like money. I mean, we would never be hesitant to say like, hey, Megan, I like pizza. I'm not going to quantify that and say something along the lines of, I like pizza, but it's really for like the greater good and I'm trying to educate people and that kind of thing. It's like, no, I just like pizza. But why are we not the same way with money? There's just so much stigma because I mean, if I just straight up told you like, yeah, Megan, I like money, that it's kind of like a little bit uncomfortable, or it's like, oh gosh, it's like, how many times do we like scoff at people when they drive a really nice car or something like that? We're like, oh, it must be nice, or just those kinds of things. So it was very interesting. I found just in the point that she was making about just our mindset around money. And, I mean, as business owners, it's something that we have to charge for our services, and we make money off of our services and the products we sell and everything. And that's okay. Like, we should not feel bad about that at all, because if we're not doing it, somebody else is going to hire us to do it. So I just thought it was such an interesting perspective, I guess, of just like, I like pizza versus I like money.
Yeah. And I think people put too much energy into it. It's like this funky, uncomfortable thing, as you said, that you start talking about and people are just like, ooh, this is a weird zone. I don't know if I want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, we're all here to make a living and make money so we can support ourselves, our families, and to live the life and do the things that we want to do. And talking about money and making money just comes with that territory. So it's definitely something that people just need to get comfortable with and not have this weird energy around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you, especially people that are like entrepreneurs, doing like what we do. It's a little bit more funky because you don't have like an office manager or someone dealing with money. It's like you directly dealing with the money that you make, and you also need to value that, and you need to set your worth. A lot of people will degrade, I guess, what they think their worth is because it's like them dealing with someone versus someone else dealing with someone. So they'll like lower their payments or their rates just to get more, activity. But then it's like you're lowering your value.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things. When I first started my skincare business, I would always tell people, I mean, I charged $100 for a chemical peel, and I would tell people like, oh, but for you, it's only 75. And I basically said that to everybody. And then I just trained them that was the price, or I was always undervaluing myself or always apologizing for, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, it's kind of expensive, but it wasn't, I was right in line with what everybody else was charging in Dallas. So yeah, we have no reason to apologize for what we charge for our services.
Exactly. And our services, another thing too, is especially when you're in like the nutrition, fitness, wellness industry, like, you are changing people's lives. Like, that is worth it. So charge your worth. Charge your worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good little tangent there.
I know. So
thanks, Jen, for getting us on that.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And it's an important topic. People don't talk about it enough, and you need to work through those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, just think about how many like arguments and divorces and I mean, so much stress, sleepless nights are caused by money.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, getting into today's show. So Casey and I are going to talk about transitioning from a standard American diet, the good old Western diet, to a Paleolithic type diet. So a lot of people, of course, have heard this trend paleo that's going on. And, it's really not so much as sort of quote unquote a trend. It's really going back to the basics of the way our ancestors ate. There's really something to this, people. And that's why so many people are getting into this movement and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to eating, animals that walked on the earth or anything that grows out of the ground. Natural type foods, your meats, your vegetables, your fruits, your healthy fats that you get from your animals, and your, fruits and vegetables. So that kind of stuff. It's going back to the basics and the way that we should be eating.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of transitioning from, standard American diet. Okay, what are you eating? Are you like the typical bagel and sour cream in the morning, or maybe you enjoy cereal? Maybe you're doing the yogurt with granola, or you're making your own smoothies, but it's, what are you putting in your smoothies is something you got to look at. Going to lunch, are you still eating out a lot? Is convenience a factor? It's just making it work in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially for lunch and for dinner, it's kind of the same thing. So you can really just bounce off those two together. And really with anything, I think people also get way too caught up on like breakfast has to be like breakfast food, like eggs or yogurt or smoothie or whatever. Totally does not. That's another amazing thing about really just enjoying and learning to enjoy this more like paleo type diet, when you're just focusing on proteins, lots and lots of vegetables and healthy fats and those starchier carbohydrates when it's appropriate for you, is it's like you can eat whatever you want, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You just got to make sure you're
focusing. I had a sausage with avocado and sauerkraut for breakfast this morning.
Exactly. That's an amazing breakfast.
Dude, it was so good.
I want some of that right now. It sounds good. But yeah, I mean, so really just, looking at what you're currently doing and just making some little tweaks and changes. And we're going to talk about kind of how to do that. But really the first step of what you can do to really start kind of educating yourself and getting into the swing of switching up the diet is looking into like a Whole30 or a sugar detox, or transitioning slowly, just depending on your personality type and what you're already doing and what you're comfortable with. But looking into those things, and even just doing simple stuff like getting a Whole30 cookbook or a, paleo crock pot cookbook, and like starting to make some recipes out of it, that kind of thing.
You could take a restart class. We both are instructors for that. We teach you how to do, and we lead you through a sugar detox. If you're going from, okay, I have zero knowledge about any of this kind of stuff, then, you take a class or you hire a professional to really like just help you get started.
Yeah.
With these types of things.
Exactly. Exactly. 110%.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of guidance. And so many people out there are doing things like we're doing with Restart. And Restart is an amazing 5-week, program that just people learn so much from, and they see so many awesome benefits and results.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take that much time. So yeah, looking into that kind of stuff, that's really a good place to start. I think that another really important thing, which Casey and I were talking about before we started the show, is fats and oils.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you're currently cooking with at your house, you need to check it out. Go look in your pantry, go look in your fridge. And the biggest swap that I think that people can make in their homes is getting rid of the rancid, trans, or hydrogenated fats that people have been told to use. Like your canola oils, corn oil, soy oil, soybean, sunflower, safflower, anything hydrogenated, vegetable oils. Get rid of them, guys. If you're using them, throw them away. That is probably the biggest favor you can do to your body.
Yeah. And the reason why is our cells we talked more about this in the fat episode, but our cells they don't like those fats. And it's pretty much like we're swallowing shards of glass to our cells.
Yep.
Yeah. Go listen to that episode if you want more information, but that's the short and sweet of it.
Yeah. Exactly. And every single cell in our body is literally made of healthy fats. So if you're eating those bad fats, you're going to have unhealthy, sad cells.
Mhm.
Cells with like holes in the walls and they're all crippled and sad and not doing the jobs that they need to be doing. And that's why people don't feel good. That's why they're tired all the time. That's why they've got this weight that won't go away. That's why they've got mood disorders, you know? So definitely the biggest thing you can do is clean out your fats.
Mhm.
So, okay, let's talk about some good fats you can use, right? So, my favorites are definitely coconut oil and a high heat avocado oil. It's probably what I cook with 99% of the time. It's one of the two. Actually, I should say like 80% of the time because the other 20% I'm using grass fed butter.
Yeah, that's my choice.
Okay.
Grass-fed butter or ghee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so easy for me. The coconut oil and the avocado, I know it's just so, I don't know, it's just convenience, I guess. It's like right next to my stove, throw it in the skillet.
Ah, okay.
They're also already liquid form. I mean, the avocado oil or coconut oil, if you get it in your hands and rub it around and heat it up, it's just easier to coat things that I'm baking or
Mhm.
roasting in the oven. So
Right.
that's the only thing. I really use butter for like in the skillet, like if I'm doing fish or if I want to like sear something, that's when I use butter.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can also use, what is it, like beef tallow,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
You
duck
can
fat.
chicken
Epic
fat.
makes a bunch of different animal fats that you can use. I
Yeah.
tried using beef tallow once to cook my eggs in, and it was funky.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat them. Like I can use it in other things. Like can't remember. I like sauteed some vegetables that went in something else and it was fine. But just straight up using it on my eggs, I was like, ooh,
Yeah, it's an interesting taste.
not so much. Yeah, it was a bit functified.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that I love to do is when I cook bacon, um, grass-fed, sugar-free, no nitrites added source.
Mm-hmm.
I put the bacon drippings in a glass mason jar, and I actually have like a tiny little mini one. Like they make little small ones for spices,
They're
which is
so
super cute.
cute.
They're so cute.
So
And
cute.
I put that in my fridge so I can actually cook with the grease, like making eggs,
Mhm.
when I want it to have some bacon flavor.
Yeah, that is delicious. I do that too.
Super good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So yeah, guys, that's the biggest thing you can do. Switch out your oils. It's a really good place to start. Get some
Yep.
of those healthy fats and healthy oils in the house
Mm-hmm.
in your
Something
system.
else that you can do really to, I guess, get started with all of this is clean out your pantry.
Hmm.
So get rid of those trigger foods that you just, like the cookies, the crackers, chips, all of that kind of stuff. Just don't even have it in the house because it's one of those things. If it's out of sight, it's going to be out of mind. And plus, if you're like having a craving for like, oh, I just want something like salty, I just want a chip or whatever. If you have to get in your car, drive to the store, go buy it, and then drive home, well, let's be real, you'll eat the chips in the car. But you're not going to do it. Like the craving is going to go away. But if you have it in your house, it's gonna get eaten
Yeah.
for
Yep,
sure.
exactly. Super good point. And look in all of those products too, because I bet you they've got hydrogenated oils or
Mhm.
some sort of corn or soy or something like that in there.
Yeah.
I bet you it's in there. So get rid of them.
And even foods that you buy from Whole Foods or Sprouts, you still have to read the ingredient labels because they could potentially have the canola oil, safflower, any of those oils.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I was watching my little goddaughter last weekend and I was picking out, some kid friendly foods for her, but I even picked up like a broccoli and potato like little thing that you make in the toaster oven for her. It's kind of like a chicken nugget, but like broccoli and potato.
Okay.
And I was reading the ingredients and it was like canola oil. And I was just like, what the heck? Why? And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not putting this in her body.
Mm-hmm.
So you just really have to pick up and read everything and look at, the ingredients. It's
Mm-hmm.
really important. And really this goes back to, right? So we're getting rid of the processed packaged man-made foods that are in the pantry most of the time, can also be in the fridge, of course, and really focusing on your proteins, right? Like your chicken, your fish, your beef, whatever type of protein, animal source eggs that you like, and then pairing it with lots and lots and lots of non-starchy vegetables. So that's going to be like your cruciferous, so your broccoli, your cauliflower, your Brussels sprouts, your asparagus, bok choy, lettuce, all that kind of stuff that you love, leafy greens, and then also lots of healthy fats. So cooking with those oils that we talked about, eating, an avocado with your meal. If you work out and you need a little bit more of those starchier carbohydrates, really incorporating, your sweet potatoes, your plantains, your beans, that kind of stuff, rice, non-gluten grains, and legumes, that kind of stuff. So really getting rid of those processed and packaged foods. And I mean, they have their place in their time. Casey and I are not sitting here saying that we don't enjoy cheese and crackers every once in a while, or whatever your vice is. Just make sure it's a good, high quality product. Like Mary's Gone crackers for crackers are amazing.
Those are so good.
So good. But it's little things like that. Everything that is in your home, everything that you're eating, you can switch out for a better option.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then, when you're at the grocery store, a simple rule that we like to talk about is the 5 and 5 rule. So let's say you are buying a packaged food. You want to make sure it has 5 ingredients or less and 5 grams of sugar or less per serving. Mm-hmm. Just a super simple rule. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, I don't know what you're talking about, just follow that rule if you're going to be buying the packaged foods. But best is really just to shop the perimeter of the store and buy things that don't have an ingredient label. So that's when you're sticking with your fresh vegetables, your fresh fruits, your meats, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, the 5 and 5 is a really good rule. It's simple, just, simple and easy to follow. And then shop the perimeter. Like stay on the outside, because then you can't get in trouble with the cookies and the crackers and the canned, BPA containing whatever soup or vegetables, that kind of stuff. Just buy it fresh, get your meats, get your veggies, get your fruits, and get out.
No, but exactly. Like the middle of the store equals death.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's another good point. So think of like white death. Stay away from anything white. So that's like your white sugar, your white flour, your white, anything like that. Mm-hmm. Your white breads, all that kind of junk. Stay away from it. Creamers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Basically all the good stuff. No, I'm kidding.
but then again, I'm not saying that, an almond milk creamer, unsweetened, low sugar, doesn't have its place, coconut yogurt, that kind of stuff. Everything has its place. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. And, going back to my point that I just made, like taking away all the fun, let's talk about mindset. Again, when you are transitioning, or let's say that you're doing a Whole30 or a sugar detox, something really important to think about when you're going into this is, I am choosing to eat this way versus, oh, I can't have that. Because just that mindset shift is going to really just increase the likelihood that your program is going to be successful and just how much you enjoy it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mindset is a huge thing, but especially when you're telling yourself, I am choosing to change the way I'm eating. I'm choosing to eat these lots and lots of vegetables with healthy fats and meats and, the safer sweets when I can. I'm choosing to do this because I know it's better for my body versus like, oh, I can't have chips anymore, or I can't have the bread I used to eat, or I can't have, it's like, no, don't think like that. Think like, I can have these new options that I haven't ever experienced before and that are so much better for my body, and they're going to, do so many beneficial things, and I'm going to feel better. I'm going to look better. I'm going to just all the benefits that come with making those swaps to better foods.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Something else that is really important as you are making these changes is to enlist the support of your family and friends. Mm-hmm. Because, especially your family, because you live with them. And so they're probably not going to be happy about you throwing away the cookies and the chips and everything. But, just getting everybody on board is also going to increase the likelihood of your success. And it's not like you're hurting your family by taking away highly processed cookies. Like, they're going to be fine. They may be mad at you, but it's not like you're harming their health. And, just talking about, so it's interesting with the triathlon group that I work with, there was a lady who posted that she needed to lose about 50 pounds and that her husband and kids were incredibly unsupportive of this and incredibly picky eaters. And she was just asking for, people's recommendations on what she could do, because she was basically cooking 3 meals every night, like one for her husband, one for her, and one for their kids. And so I told her, I was like, you're not a short order cook. Don't do that. Like, your kids will learn to like the foods, and your husband just needs to grow up.
Yeah.
And I didn't really say it nicer than that. Like, that's pretty much the way that I said it. But it's just, you have to have that family support.
Mm-hmm. And this is a lifestyle change, not only for you, but for the people that you love. You cleaning out your pantry, cleaning out your fridge, making swaps for healthier foods. You're not only doing yourself a service, you're doing the people that you love a service too, because them continuing to eat the crap that you're eliminating from your diet, from your life, is only hurting them. I mean, these foods are why America is in the health epidemic that it is today. And so you getting rid of these foods, making cleaner swaps, it's only going to do them just so much positivity, and they will get used to it. They might be mad at first because they can't have their Frosted Flakes or because there's no more Oreos in the house, but eventually, you're going to have like Annie's gluten-free, what is it, Frosted Flakes that she makes for kids or whatever, with some, type of healthful cookie made with almond flour and coconut flour and, coconut palm sugar and dark chocolate chips versus an Oreo. And they're going to get into it, and their body's going to start loving it. They're going to start feeling better. And yeah, it's a transition. It takes time, but it's only for the better. It's only for positive changes. It's only benefiting everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're getting yourself healthy, but you're getting everyone healthy too, whether they like it or not, and they will learn and they will adapt. And also, when you're taking away food from people in your home and you're making these swaps, I had a client the other day that was just like, you're telling me to switch out my mayonnaise for Primal Kitchen's Paleo mayo that's made with avocado oil versus the old crap, that I'm buying. And I've got someone else in the house that's used to that stuff. And it's like, well, you're just making swaps. And if they ask you about it, tell them it's because you learned about a certain ingredient there that's hurting them and hurting, hurting their partner or their kid or their family member as well. Mm-hmm. And you are making just a healthier swap, and you want them to try it. You want them to see how it goes, and, it'll be fine at the end of the day. Just that kind of stuff is really what you need to focus on, because again, it's only just benefiting everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, it was pretty cool because also in the same triathlon group, there was another couple that did the Restart program and the 21-day sugar detox, and they're continuing on with it. And their kids are actually loving the food, and their kids have lost weight as well. Like, their kids needed to lose a little weight. It's not like their kids are starving or anything like that, but just the entire family has fully embraced it, and they are just loving the new way of eating, and it's just become a habit.
That's amazing
for them now. Yeah, it's so cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I've had a couple of instances like that, and actually all of my Restart classes, I've had someone that has shared with me that they started eating, the Restart sugar elimination diet that we coach people through the program. And they tell me, they're like, I've been cooking for myself, but my husband has also just naturally started eating the foods that I've been cooking. And, he didn't really, he didn't do the program with me, and he's not following it along to the T, but he's like loving the food. He's lost weight. He's feeling better. He's sleeping better. And he's feeling the awesome, amazing benefits that I'm getting myself just from eating the foods that I'm cooking for myself, that he eats for dinner or takes for lunch the next day or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. I've had multiple people tell me, like, I'm just cooking this way and my family's eating this way. And it's like everyone is feeling better and everyone is loving it.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
It's really cool. It is really cool to have those testimonies and those stories. And that's, definitely what keeps us doing this every day for sure. So really cool. So yeah, getting family support is really important. Whether they want to give into it or not, you just have to figure it out. You have to just kind of tweak it and figure it out for yourself on how to make it work. But it's totally doable.
Totally. Beat them into submission. Not really.
Yeah. And then so really just switching from like standard American to paleo all goes back to focus on eating whole foods. Nutrient dense versus paleo crap is kind of what we want to call it. And this is another thing that we were talking about like, you know, a lot of people tend to, okay, I'm going to start eating paleo. So what is paleo? Instead of eating my blueberry muffin that I eat in the morning, I'm going to go buy a paleo blueberry muffin. And then for lunch, I'm going to have paleo pasta with paleo, you know, cream Alfredo or whatever. And then for dinner, I'm going to have paleo, whatever dish I make with a paleo dessert, you know, that's a paleo cake and a paleo cookie and a paleo whatever. And it's like all of these paleo like processed foods that I think a lot of people start to tend to for convenience versus making their own nutrient dense protein, vegetables, healthy fat meal, you know, balance. They tend to get on this whole like processed food thing, and it really is not anything that we are advising you guys to start doing. Those are just like additions or substitutions to bring in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just one of those things, you know, like if you have a choice between like, okay, we are running super late and the kids are either like, we're going to have Taco Bell or we're going to have a paleo frozen pizza. Like choose the paleo frozen pizza.
Exactly.
But, you know, you don't want to just do a 1-for-1 swap. Like, okay, I'm eating Frosted Flakes every morning for breakfast, so let me just get the paleo version of it. You know, we are asking you guys when you're making these swaps to really focus on the whole food, the nutrient dense foods.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just I just want to touch on dining out, you know, real quick too, because I think that's really important. And at the end of the day, we all eat out, like whether it's for a special occasion or because it just is convenient in your life, or that's how you have to get lunch throughout the work week, whatever it might be. Just knowing how to make smart decisions. So, you know, for example, if you go to a Mexican restaurant or just wherever you eat, you know, skip on the bread basket, skip on the chips, just focus on eating your meal. You don't need those fluffy carbohydrates fillers anyways. They don't do your body any justice. Focus on ordering something that is protein and vegetable based. So if you go to Italian, you know, focus on boiled or baked, you know, sauteed chicken or seafood, or even just like the meatballs and red sauce, and get it with like a side salad. You know, don't have them put the Caesar dressing all over the salad, get it on the side, or ask for balsamic or olive oil or lemon. But focus on, you know, just like your meats and your vegetables. So like Mexican food, get fajitas, you know, get chicken or steak or shrimp, and just eat, you know, the chicken and maybe some black beans and those sauteed vegetables, and don't fill up on a whole bunch of, you know, 4 tacos later or corn tortillas later or flour tortillas later, you know?
Right. Yeah. You just tell them, don't even bring the flour tortillas or whatever. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't need them, because if they're there, you will eat them.
Right. Exactly. So that's just kind of like a little tip on eating out. I mean, we've all got to eat out occasionally, and it happens, and just know how to survive restaurants. This is the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's show. If you want to learn more, you can find us online. Megan can be found at megangump.com or on Instagram at megan.gump. You can find me, Casey Poe Campbell, at caseypoe.com or on Instagram at Real Talk Casey. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.